This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
So that's one. The other thing that people are using right now, and I think that technology is improving, are the use of soil moisture sensors. So if we know how much water is in the soil, then we probably have an idea of when to be able to irrigate. However, most of these sensors, unfortunately, are not yet accurate in terms of giving us how much water is on the soil. However, it gives us a good idea of when it is too wet or when it is too dry, which gives us an idea of when to irrigate. So, soil moisture sensors are able to help us to be able to do those things. And the good thing about soil moisture sensors is that it goes directly to our mobile devices or computer. So we don't have to go to the field to get the idea of how much water is there, but just give us that information right in our mobile devices. So the third way to be able to do scheduling is by asking the plant itself. Yes, we are going to ask the plant regarding if they need water or not, or if they're hot or not, or if they're happy or not. So how do we do that? Chad mentioned about the satellite and so forth. So in general, when I mentioned that most of the water is being used for cooling, so if you don't have the water, then the tendency for the plant is to get hot. So we are using thermal cameras, thermal sensors, to be able to detect if there are already changes in terms of the temperature of the crop and figure out if we need to irrigate them or not. So that's one. So the thermal temperatures, thermal sensors, either stationary or on a UAVs or drones or on an airplane or even on a satellite miles and miles away out there, could give us an idea of knowing if the plant needs water or not. So that's one. Another technology that is coming out is what we call a dendrometer. So the dendrometer, it's a good term, it's a big term, but essentially it tries to monitor the expansion and contraction of the stem. If it is getting water, it tries to expand, and if it is not getting water or flowing water on the stem, it tries to contract. So that minute movement on the stem, we are now able to detect if they need water or not. It's being used right now in crops like grapes and citrus, but there is already some companies that are trying it with some row crops. So that's another way that we would probably know if the plant really needs. So we are now trying to translate those signals from the crops, from the plants, to tell us if they really need water. However, I'd like to emphasize that those three methods, ET, soil moisture sensors, and the crop itself, they are not always foolproof. Sometimes it fails, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So having one or two or more of those sensors actually gives you more confidence to make the decision to turn on or to turn off the system in most cases. So those are the three. And then the last thing that I'd like to mention is that all of these technologies, there are already farmers that are testing it in their field, or if not using them, out here in Kansas. And they are talking about it, and they are sharing their information about it. We know that because we have been going around with the field days for the water technology farms, and we only prepare about 30 minutes to an hour of program, but the producers stays there for 1 more or 2 more hours trying to just talk to each other about their experience with these technologies. Some of them say that, oh, it's not working in our situation. Some of them would say, it works, and this is what I think is going to be successful in our farms. So these are farmers that are trying to educate each other, trying to share their experience about all of these technologies that I just mentioned, and hoping that there will be more adoption of this as we go along. So those are the things that I just like to mention about these technologies, innovations in irrigation. There's a lot of things that are going out in the field soon, but just giving you an idea that yes, there is hope to be able for us to produce more, keep the food affordable in most cases, and be able to address things like drought, I think that for us, it's the irrigation that would give you some insurance that your crop will still go through during those droughts.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.